everyone, this is Nikki from the design team, and today I'm here with 3 tags. We've got some coordinating tags. These could easily be made into cards if you're more of a card maker, but we're going to use some of the new products from Catherine Pooler. Take a quick second to hit that like button and the subscribe button on the ScrapbookPal channel. We have lots of fun videos for you. So this is called Extra Frosting. It has a way that you can make 2 or 3 different cupcakes, 2 bottoms, 2 tops, lots of toppings, and then we're going to use this die set, which is called the Party Tags die. So you can make a banner with it. You could make the tag has 3 different layers, and you've got these little party hats too. So we've got lots of fun stuff we're going to use here. Now you can start this however you want to, but I'm going to use the smallest of the tag die, that little rectangle right there, and I went on and cut out several pieces of white. I'm going to stamp directly on this so I don't have to risk messing up cutting it out my stamped image, and because you can really do a pretty quick stamping job by lining it up the same every time in a stamp positioner like this MISTI. Now, Catherine Pooler inks are very juicy. This is called Something Borrowed. And I like to, if you're not sure how dark you want your item, because it is going to make it a very dark, beautiful color, I sometimes will use a blending brush and add my ink to my stamp if I want to try to see if I wanted to add some dimension to it, or if I just want to see if I can make a little bit lighter image. So you see how that's very light. You can do it this way, or you can stamp it directly. I do it both ways in my tags, but I want to show you what this looks like when I'm done with it. So you can see how we're building up the color here, and you could create areas of darker and lighter with your ink blending. I did mine mostly the same all around, but it does have some areas that give it just a little bit more texture. So this is a way that you can do this. You can do this with any ink that you have. If you just want to ink blend it onto your stamp, it gives you a little bit more options. So once I've got this done, I'm going to be stamping my frosting. You could stamp your frosting above this and just leave a little gap, but I'm going to show you what I did, which was use some masking paper. And I'm going to use the Post-it note, the double-sided Post-it notes. There's also tons of other masking papers out there, but it's very easy to cut out a mask, and then I can get my cupcake top a little closer to the bottom. So this bright yellow pad are the double-sided Post-it notes that I have. I just stamped the image, and I'm gonna fussy cut around this. Really, unless you're ink blending behind the cupcake, you could just fussy cut the top layer, which I didn't think about. So you could just do the little zigzags of the top of the cupcake holder, and that way when you put your topping on, it looks like that topping is behind it. And it keeps there from being a gap between your cupcake and the cupcake holder, which I always save this extra piece of paper, by the way. So if you've got some extra sticky, hang on to it in case you're gonna do any more cutting. But that will also save you. So I don't have the dies for these cupcakes. So I wanted to create them in kind of a flat layer as much as possible. And using masking really helps you do that. Okay, so now we're going to line up our mask, and this is just lining up the top. The sides don't really matter in this case. If you were ink blending around it, then it would, but you are mainly looking at the top area there because that's where I'm going to put my frosting. So I'm going to line up the frosting and just make sure it slightly overlaps so that I know there's no gap of white in between the frosting and the cupcake holder. I'm going to use the color Buttercream from Catherine Pooler, and you'll see that it does kind of look like it bubbles on the stamp a little bit. That's just, this ink is so juicy, you get a little bit of air with it. It really doesn't change the way it stamps, but I don't want you to be pressing super hard with these ink pads on your stamps because they have so much ink that it'll fill in the gaps. So just light taps, and then you get this beautiful image. You want to give this time to dry for just a little bit, especially when you're going in with such a dark color. We're about to put a cherry on this, and I'm going to use my ink blending with the cherry as well, just because I wasn't sure if it would be super dark red for my cherry and not really match the bottom of this cute cupcake. So I wanted to make my cherry darker in a slow fashion to make sure that I got it the color that I wanted. So that's why I'm just slowly adding. I end up realizing that this is going to work fine and go on and just stamp it. But you do want your other layers to dry because it will But if all of it's wet, you don't want that red fading into your light colored buttercream icing. And now all that's left is to add my little cherry stem. I just used VersaFine Nocturne black ink. And then let me show you what this looks like. We're gonna set it aside and let it dry, and then we're gonna add some sparkle. And I want all my tags to coordinate, so I'm going to do a red and a green because we've got red, blue, and green tags, and we're going to do all those cupcakes. And each cupcake is going to be slightly different, so I'm going to speed ahead to show you the differences in the cupcake. I did want you to see this mask one more time. This is the same mask that I used for the blue, and I'm going to put it down here with the red cupcake. Okay, so let's jump ahead to the tag. You've got the main tag die cut, and then you've got two others. One creates a decorative border and the other one creates that small rectangle that we've already cut. I'm going to use the large tag to cut a piece of decorative cardstock. This matches with my colors, and then I'm also going to use it to cut a plain white piece so that I'll have a front and back of my tag, because I want these tags to coordinate from the front and the back. I'm going to use coordinating paper with all these, so I'm going to ink blend a red, a blue, and a green of these white tags. So I cut 3 white tags and I cut 3 different colors of pattern paper to make my tags. So they're double-sided. And I just like doing that because I think it makes a more finished edge, but I also love coordinating the front and the back so that when they're laying there in that photo, they look so cool when they all match each other, no matter what way you turn them. To add a little sparkle, I used the middle layer of the tag, which is that nice decorative layer, and I cut 3 of these out of this beautiful glitter cardstock. Next, because I can't resist adding sparkle, I decided that each of these little cupcake things would sparkle, so I used some Stickles that I had, and I just added glitter to different areas of these 2. And I know that we're making 3 cards, but these 2 are kind of my similar cards. I'm going to do a little different on the green just to make it stand out and so that everything's not the exact same. So I will show you what I do. Instead of using Stickles, I'm going to use something different for my sparkle and probably make my green one just a little more sparkly than these others. Here's how these look with some extra Stickles on them. I know it's still hard to see that sparkle, but I just added some sparkle to them to give them that little extra excitement. So to make the green one a little bit different, I stamped everything out and then I went back, used a powder tool because I'm going to use some embossing powder. So I grabbed my Versamark ink and I'm going to stamp some Versamark ink on this cupcake holder, the candles, and part of my cherry just to give this some extra sparkle. So once I'd stamped the cupcake holder and the cherry, I went on and put some embossing powder on them, but I'm not going to heat it up yet because I still want to do the flames on these candles. I just didn't want to wait too long for that ink and have it dry, so I wanted to go ahead and get some powder on there, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to redo your anti-static powder. Usually mine stays perfectly fine, and when I'm done completely with embossing all of this, then I can heat it up. So now I'm going to add a little sparkle to my candles and then I'll get it heated up. Okay, so here it is. Look at that sparkle, just gorgeous. So adding embossing powder is an easy way to add that sparkle. It probably takes less time than adding it on the blue and the red card that I did with the Stickles, but it's still, both of them just give you a different look. It's amazing. So the back of our tags that we're going to use, I'm going to put this cute sentiment, and I'm going to use a dark black ink. It's the same that I used for the cherry stem, called VersaFine Clair. It is a great super dark ink, and you can also heat emboss it. So what I'm going to do is add some clear heat embossing, and it just gives it that extra shine and it looks so amazing. So I'm going to do this to both of the red and blue tags. Like I said, our green tag is going to be a little bit different, so I'm not going to do it to that. Once I have these heat embossed, then I am going to add some sparkle to the back of these cards with a shimmer spray. Now all there is to put these together. So this is the back of them, and like I said, I did a little different with the green because I wanted it to stick out. So with the green pattern paper, I put the sentiment on front, and then on the back I put my cute cupcakes, so that no matter which way I turned these, they just look so cute together. So I hope that I have given you some ideas for how to use this. I'm going to continue to put this together. I do think topping off each of these tags with a really fun ribbon of some sort will help make them extra exciting. I don't know, there's something about sparkle and ribbons that just makes me happy. So I added some cute ribbons, and here's what they look like. Okay, so I'm going to flip them over and show them different ways. This is with all the pattern paper facing forward. The first one, the red one, I'm going to go ahead and start flipping over so you can see. The back I did solid, and I added my embossed sentiment. I think the green might be my favorite. I don't know. Y'all have to tell me in the comments which one you think is your favorite. But this green one is the one that I use the embossing powder on, and you can see the sparkle really well. These backs of these had that sparkle spray on them, and then of course I used Stickles on the front of that red one and the front of the blue one. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm going to pop up some pictures so that you can look at these again, and I just say play with these fun tags. They are really cool. You could make this tag and put it on a card if you wanted to. I'm going to use mine on some presents. All right, here's some final pictures for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you are looking for any of these products, they will be listed in the description. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.